What's up, college sports fans? I'm Stucky.
I'm Colin Wilson.
I'm Mike Calabrese.
I'm Maria Marino.
I'm Charlie DiSturco, and we're excited that the Big Bets on Campus brand is launching its very own YouTube channel.
You'll be able to find every episode of the BBOC podcast, live shows, and other college sports content on this new channel.
Not only will the channel be dedicated to betting on college sports, but you'll also be able to find exclusive interviews with former college athletes,
college football power rankings,
and updates on other topics like the brand new College Football 25 video game series and the ins and outs of the recruiting trail all the way down to the transfer portal.
Whether you're into college football,
college basketball,
college baseball, or any of the college sports,
we are the home for college sports, and BBOC is the channel for you.
Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the action. I'll see you there.
Welcome in to Payoff Pitch, Action Network's Major League Baseball betting podcast. We are presented by our friends at BetMGM. Brendan Glasheen hosting with BJ Cunningham and Tanner McGrath alongside. We're diving into the Tuesday slate in Major League Baseball. It's a full 15-game slate. We join you on Monday evening, just after 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on August 5th. So without further ado, we'll dive right in. We're going to do, just to tease, we're going to do a little different Fade the Public. We're going to do a total as opposed to a side. So stay tuned for that. We'll do underdogs and some final bets. Not a whole lot from the guys here, but that's the idea. We want to give what the guys are feeling good about. There's a ton of games and everyone gets antsy. I think we were talking about that last night, Tanner, how, sometimes people want to bet the whole slate. You don't necessarily have to do that. You bet what you feel strongly about and when you feel like you have a good edge. So there's your lesson from me that I've learned from all of you. BJ, why don't you get us started? We haven't heard from you in a while.
Let's go with the Orioles at -145 against the Blue Jays. Grayson Rodriguez, he hasn't really gotten the headlines that, like his teammate Corbin Burns has necessarily, but he has been just incredibly solid in their rotation this season. 3.74 expected ERA. He's got a K/9 rate over 10 right now, is barely walking any guys. But more importantly, his stuff plus rating is at 119, which is actually better than his teammate Corbin Burns. All of his main pitches have a stuff plus rating over 110, so he's just been a very, very dominant pitcher. He did get roughed up a tad bit in his last start against the Blue Jays, but his xFIP in that start was only 3, as opposed to the guy he's going to be facing, Chris Bassett, who is having probably his worst season since about 2015. He's got a 4.3 expected ERA, and really what has happened is his sinker just has not been that effective. He throws it 40% of the time. He likes to utilize that to generate a high ground ball rate. And if you look back to his best season in the majors was 2 years ago with the Mets. He had a ground ball rate close to 49%. Well, now he's down to 40%. But those ground balls haven't turned into fly balls. They've turned into line drives, as his line drive rate has gone up about 5 or 6% from 2 years ago. So he's going to be facing pretty much one of the best lineups in baseball against right-handed pitching. The Orioles are significantly better in their bullpen than the Blue Jays are. So I honestly think the Orioles have the advantage in every single aspect of this game, and I think they're a little undervalued here. I projected them closer to -160, so I like the price in them at -145.
If G-Rod fully optimizes his arsenal, he has Cy Young upside. He's that good. He is that good.
Yeah, Bassett wasn't very good last year, too, right? His home road splits were very lopsided. I can't remember which one he was better at. But this year, the home ERA is up compared to the road ERA, and they are home tomorrow.
Bassett is your classic Chad innings eater. 4 ERA, chew up 150 innings a year. He's done it for 10 years. So it's not a bad thing. It's just it's not good on this Toronto team, which has way too many holes to talk about.
And I forgot to mention he showed that in his last start because he did face the Orioles and gave up 9 hits and 5 runs in 4 innings.
Yep.
So I have a feeling that might happen again.
And you understated just how bad the Blue Jays bullpen is, by the way. The Blue Jays bullpen is historically
even
bad.
their offense, honestly, is bad.
They traded away Yimi Garcia, and now they have no one. They have 0 above replacement level relievers, just nothing.
It's I like
the Orioles too.
Yeah, it's a bottom 5 bullpen.
All right. The cookie cutter Mickey Mouse schedule continues, Tanner, for the San Diego Padres, and that's why you like them tomorrow night.
I do. I like the Padres on the money line. They're at the Pirates, 6:40 p.m. Eastern time game. I got -160. I think -180-ish or better is good. I honestly think the Padres should be monster favorites here, like -210, -215. because I'm all in on Dylan Cease, who starts for the Padres on Tuesday. He is in the zone right now. His fastball velocity is up over a tick across his past 4 starts. He's shoving in 98 mile-per-hour fastballs on average. He's tossed 28 innings of a 1-run ball with 36 strikeouts during that stretch, including a no-hitter. He could be the NL Cy Young. No joke, if he keeps up this streak and some other guys kind of fall off. Conversely, Bailey Falter, who starts for the Pirates on Tuesday, he's overperforming. He's overvalued, right? Like a 3.9 ERA, expected run indicators pushing 5. That 260 BABIP should come up more down the stretch. He can't miss bats with a 16% strikeout rate, and he can't pitch to contact. I mean, like, his batted ball profile is a mess. So there's nothing good that he really does other than get a little lucky. And on top of that, the position player matchup is zero competition. I mean, the Padres can hit circles around the Pirates. And although the Padres are worse against left-handed pitchers than against right-handed pitchers, Bailey Falter is a lefty, they're still better than the Pirates. They're still better against that side than the Pirates are against righties. I mean, the Pirates haven't hit right-handed pitching all season, and I doubt they start here against the hottest pitcher in the National League. I also give the Padres a significant defensive advantage. People forget that San Diego is a top 5 defensive team. I give them a huge bullpen advantage. And, I actually somewhat like the Pirates bullpen. Like, I think they have a decent core back there. But the Padres have a really deep bullpen now after getting Tanner Scott and Brian Hoeing. And Tanner Scott has been like the most clutch, valuable reliever in baseball over the past 2 seasons. Like, he is Josh Hader level good. I love the Padres here. And I don't mind paying the juice because I would make them closer to minus 200.
The Padres have won. Sorry, I was coming out there for a second. The Padres have won each of Cease's last 4 starts. You mentioned the tear he's been on as of late. And right now, 16-1 in the market for NL Cy Young, Dylan Cease. He's kind of in that second tier with Hunter Green, and then Sale, Wheeler, and Skeens are in that first tier, because then there's a big drop off to Tyler Glasnow, and then Ranger Suarez, etc. All right, yeah, Cease is a very important piece, because if they can get some other guys like your Musgrove or your Darvish, I mean, we've talked about the Padres a lot the last couple of episodes, but yeah, this is their time to shine. This piece in their schedule. Let's go to Fade the Public. As I teased a moment ago, we're going to do a total. 82% of the bets, 84% of the cash on the Giants Nats over 9 runs. Patrick Corbin pitched tonight. That game is in progress. They're in the 7th. It's 4-1. So, of course, you got to keep an eye on bullpen usage. But it seems that might be some higher leverage guys in a 3-run game, in a save situation game. As of right now, your pitching matchup, Hayden Birdsong, that's a great name, and Mackenzie Gore are your pitchers for Giants and Nationals. BJ, is the public getting too excited to bet the over in this? Is there an angle to play the under?
Yeah. So the thing here is I think why you're seeing this, shoot up is the weather, because it's going to be a really, really hot day at Nationals Park, and the wind's going to be blowing out about 11 or so miles per hour. So every indicator would tell you that it would be going more towards the over, but I actually think there might be a potential value here on the under. Hayden Birdsong, not only a great name, but incredible stuff. I mean, he's got 3 off-speed pitches with a stuff plus rating over 110. His changeup's got a stuff plus rating of 155, and he's been generating crazy high whiff rates on all 3 of those pitches, close to 40%. So you can't hit a home run if you can't actually make contact with the ball. I know that the Nationals as well have been very below average against right-handed pitching this season. So I think Birdsong has a great matchup. The Giants bullpen is a top 3 bullpen by xFIP. So the Giants, I think, have a really good matchup. You do the flip side, I know Mackenzie Gore has tended to struggle as of late, and the Giants are better against left-handed pitching. The problem that Gore's going to run into here is that he throws his fastball 55% of the time, and he likes to throw it well up in the zone, which is troublesome in this type of aspect. So although the Giants do have a good matchup here, I think the flip side is that the Nationals are going to get really close to shut out here with Hayden Birdsong on the mound. So projected the total at 8.6. So I actually think there is a little bit of value on the under, and you're already kind of seeing that the under's gone from under 9 minus 105 now down to minus 115. I don't think I wouldn't be surprised if you saw this maybe potentially get to under 8.5 at even money or even plus money at that aspect. So for me, I think there's a little bit of value on the under despite what the weather is showing.
Tanner, if it gets to 8.5, could you see yourself playing it over?
Yeah, I disagree with BJ here a little bit, and I'll start with Mackenzie Gore. Like I have a soft spot in my heart for Mackenzie Gore. I've always loved how his fastball plays. Excellent velocity, excellent shape, but that velocity is way down recently. Like, I mean, he started the year pumping in 97 mile per hour fastballs. It's down under 95 in his most recent outing. He lost some heat on his secondaries. His stuff plus marks are down over 10 points over his past 3 or 4 starts. He's allowed 21 earned runs over his past 20 innings, 15 strikeouts to 15 walks during the stretch, by the way. Yikes. I think he's in a little bit of a funk. I don't know if he's getting tired. I don't know, but his stuff is not there. And, BJ mentioned it. Like, the Giants crush left-handed pitching. They're 4th among lineups in WRC plus against southpaws, 16th against righties, by the way. The Giants, they stack like 6, 7, 8 righties in their lineup. And like the switch hitting catcher, Patrick Bailey, helps a lot in that regard. So they can just crush lefties. And yeah, I think that Hayden Birdsong is good. Like I love his secondaries. Like BJ mentioned, like the stuff plus marks on his secondaries are through the roof. I just wonder if he's a little bit overvalued and due for a letdown start after back-to-back starts against the Rockies, where he struck out 20 batters in 11 innings, right? Like a terrible lineup that he just overwhelmed. So I feel like I would prefer an over in this game, if anything. Like BJ mentioned, the hitting weather is going to be great. Double-digit breezes out towards center field, 90-degree temperatures. The Nationals bullpen is awful after they dealt away Dylan Floro and Hunter Harvey. Kyle Finnegan is like that closer in that group. He's good, but clearly overvalued. That said, I do think 9 is like a tad high. Like if that total comes down to 8.5 minus 110-ish, I would definitely play the over.
Okay. Underdogs. BJ, you're going to talk about the Rays, who right now are 3 over 500, and they are hanging by a fingernail if they want to pull off this preseason win total that I know you already opted out of, but yeah, I'm praying, man. I mean, they got to go like 28 and 23, I think it is, the rest of the way. But their schedule, oh boy, they got the Cardinals this week, but that schedule gets really hard. But you like them tomorrow.
Yeah, I just wonder if minus 142 is a little high here for the Cardinals, especially since they'll be facing a left-handed pitcher, which they have been just horrible against this season, which is an understatement. Bottom 5 in baseball against left-handed pitching. Jeffrey Springs did not have a good first start. He's been battling injuries for basically 2 years now. The stuff plus numbers coming out of that start were not good. But again, he has been more of a location guy throughout his career. It's why he was so good before he got injured last season. And facing a lineup like the Cardinals that struggles so desperately against left-handed pitching actually gives him a chance, I think, to have some success here. Now, the Cardinals will have an advantage in the bullpen. Sonny Gray has been great this season. There's really nothing negative I can say about him. But I think minus 142 might be a tad too high. Again, it depends on where you project Jeffrey Springs at. Now that he's came back, it is only 3 innings off of his first start, so you can't really overreact to his stuff plus was only 91 in that first start. He did get shelled, but I think this is a great chance for him to rebound here. So I like the Rays plus 120.
All right, underdog for you, Tanner.
Yeah, let's go with a really gross one, a little bit of a longer shot than we normally do. I like the Angels on the money line at the Yankees in the Bronx, 7 p.m. game. Sicko pick, but the line has moved from like the opener of plus 240 to like plus 200 quick. Sharp money keeps hitting the halos. 3 parts to this handicap for me. First, starting pitcher for the Angels, Davis Daniel. I think he might be good. I don't know how good, but I think he might be good. He's an excellent command and control guy. He walks no one. He dots all his pitches. He he's also a positive regression candidate, like a 4.9 ERA with a 3.7 expected FIP. He was dominant at times in the minors. I think he has a high ceiling. I am willing to bet into that upside at 2-1. Second part of this handicap, I'm not that high on Luis Gil. I don't think he's that good overall in general. Like, he has a 6 ERA and a 4.5 expected FIP over his past 7 starts. He pretty much ever since his strand luck flipped, like he stranded like 88% of batters through his first 10 starts, and then as soon as that flipped, everything went downhill. Because like in stark contrast to Daniel, Gil has a huge walk problem. He's a huge command problem, a career 12% walk rate. He has 53 and 112 innings this season. And if you put ducks on the pond with free passes, things can go south fast if you're not getting that strand luck. And look, his velocity was way up in his last start. I won't lie, and that does worry me. But the command issues are just enough for me to fade him. I think he's a 4 ERA guy. I think Davis Daniel might be right around there with him. Third part of this handicap, and I've talked about it, probably 100 times on this podcast. I don't like the Yankees bullpen. I hate the Yankees bullpen. They're a bottom 10 bullpen by every metric. Clay Holmes actually has pitched a lot better recently, but a lot of the middle relievers and setup guys have been much worse. Like, I really don't like what I'm seeing from Luke Weaver, guys like that. So even though the Angels bullpen is generally erratic, they can hang in this matchup, especially considering actually the Angels bullpen has been red hot. They rank 4th in reliever WAR and ERA over the past 2 weeks. So hell, I might give the Angels a bullpen advantage here. Obviously, the position player advantage lies with the Yankees, but I think the Angels can hang on the mound for all 9 innings, and I think that's worth a flyer at nearly 2-1 odds. I got plus 215. I think plus 190 or better is good.
All right, there you go. There are your 2 dogs, Rays and Angels. Both teams on the road. Okay, one more from each of you. Both picking a side, and then we'll get out of here. BJ, you first. Final bet.
Braves minus 130. We are recording this on Monday night, and wouldn't you know it, Brendan, MLB has not updated their website for the correct starting pitcher. It has been posted on Twitter by a Braves beat writer that Bryce Elder is going to start and not Chris Sale. So that's why the odds are so low comparatively, because he'll be facing Colin Ray, who we've talked about a lot on this podcast, who's a very overvalued starting pitcher. He really doesn't have a great stuff profile. A lot of his main 2 pitches are a sinker and a cutter. A lot of those pitches are in the zone. He's in 7th percentile for whiff rate, 9th percentile for chase rate, 26th percentile for hard hit rate. He throws the ball in the zone, and it gets hit. The Braves lineup has been below average against right-handed pitching this season, but they should be able to hit Colin Ray. And although Bryce Elder has been somebody that I know on this podcast that we have faded a lot, comparatively to Colin Ray, I think he's a superior starting pitcher. And if you look into Bryce Elder this season, he just has massive splits. He's terrible against left-handed pitching, but he's pretty good against righties. The Brewers can at max put 4 left-handed bats in their lineup. Like, they're predominantly a right-handed hitting lineup. So I actually think the Braves have a decent advantage here, and I like them at minus 130.
The Braves are a team that's trending up because they got so unlucky with their batted ball profile early in the season, and now all of a sudden the positive regression is coming, and they're really good on the mound. I think people should bet the Braves a lot in the second half, in my opinion, starting here.
Those of you that didn't tune into this particular episode, it was about 3 months ago.
Yep.
Because we were talking about title. Before we jumped on, a little behind the curtain, we were talking about titles of the pod that our producer, our audio director, our audio producer, I should say, David Payne. So I'm just scrolling through. I had the page up. You want to go back to May 13th. The episode title of Payoff Pitch is "If You Don't Know, Don't Announce It." And there's an epic rant from Sean Derillo about MLB.com posting starting pitchers on their site.
Yeah,
so,
it was announced. They just changed it and they didn't update it. So
right, the lack of updating,
yeah,
right, just not being sure. So you want to hear the rant? You can go back and find that. May 13th. If you don't know, don't announce it is the title of the Payoff Pitch episode. All right, Tanner. Speaking of which, the Phillies and Dodgers are in the middle of a series. They're going to start it up tonight, or recording before the first game of that series. But we've got Christopher Sanchez of Philadelphia taking on Clayton Kershaw, who's making his third start since returning. You're going to weigh in on a side here.
Yeah, I like the Phillies in this West Coast game. I got -105. I like -110 or better. I think this is a really good spot for the Phillies to bounce back against a good team after a few weeks of just horrendous results. And I think this game is a really good spot for the Phillies because Clayton Kershaw looks cooked. I mean, all right, so he's made 2 starts this season. His average fastball velocity through those 2 starts is under 90 miles per hour. The Padres and Giants tacked on 5 runs on 12 hits across 7 innings in those 2 starts. His slider is no longer the dominant pitch it once was. He earned 1 whiff on 33 thrown against the Giants. 1 whiff. The spin rates on the curveball are down. I think he's just cooked, man. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but the Clayton Kershaw days are over. He needs to hang it up. The Phillies offense, his opponent, I think they're starting to come around a bit. And they are better against lefties than they are against righties. They're actually almost 20% better by WRC plus in the season, and they could crack Kershaw here. The Phillies will start Christopher Sanchez, as Glasheen mentioned. He was overvalued through his first 15 starts because he was getting lucky with home run variance. He allowed a really low home run to fly ball rate, and that's flipped in his past 5 starts as he's pitched to a 6.5 ERA behind a 15% home run to fly ball rate. But he's a ground ball pitcher behind a great sinker. So homers won't always bite him. Nobody is immune to a few over the course of the season. But I think this quote unquote regression that he's going through is more just natural variance. And I think the market is actually pricing him about right in this situation. Not to mention, he did face the Dodgers a month ago and spun 6 innings of 2-run ball and a 4-3 Phillies wins. And the Dodgers still likely without Mookie, Freddie Freeman, and Max Muncy. I don't know about Freddie Freeman. He might have come back.
So I was just going to say, Freeman is in the lineup tonight. That's what I was
Freeman
just checking.
Is back.
Freeman is batting third at first base.
But still no Mookie, still no Max Muncy. The bottom half of that order, I think, is very, very vulnerable. If Sanchez can pitch around the top guys and then force ground balls to the awful bottom half of the order, I like his chances here. And I'm also pretty sure I prefer the Phillies bullpen to the Dodgers. I just don't think the Dodgers have many reliable arms back there, while the Phillies are loaded with reliever depth. They are also slumping, but looking at their season-long results, they're a top 5 bullpen. Even after dealing Soto and Dominguez at the deadline, Matt Strahm has ascended to a new level. Orion Kerkering is an excellent young relief arm. Jeff Hoffman is among the best relievers in the game. Alvarado has been a little bit better lately. So, yeah, I think this series is a good time to buy low on the Phillies against a likely overvalued, shorthanded Dodgers squad. And with Clayton Kershaw on the mound, I'll happily oblige.
Tonight's lineup, they've got 6 through 9. Kike Hernandez at third, Jason Hayward in right, Andy Pages in center. I've never heard of Andy Pages. And then Nick Ahmed is at shortstop.
Those guys have an average WRC plus of 85. The bottom half of that order, it's in rough place right now.
Yep. I'm curious. I wonder if Freeman was out. I wonder what kind of number you'd get on the if the Phillies would be favored in this game, because right now the Dodgers are favored. I mean, it's not by much. It's a pick 'em price basically, but Freeman's back, so he didn't go to Oakland, and they're back home, and it seems like everything's good with the family, so that's good.
And we'll also see if he steps back into the lineup and he's himself.
Yeah.
So to speak, there could be rust. He could Harper returned from injury recently and struggled really badly. So, we'll see.
All right, very good. Plain and simple. There you go. Braves Phillies are the final bets for Tuesday, August 6th. BJ and Tanner, you can find them both individually in the free award-winning Action Network app. Please leave your 5-star ratings and reviews wherever you listen. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Like this video if you enjoy Payoff Pitch. Also check out the Action Network Discord. I have not been doing a good job plugging the Discord. There is a link to the Discord channel in the episode description, so have a look-see at that if you want to build out your baseball betting community. We'll be back on Friday, getting you set for the weekend. So we'll be back with you Friday. For BJ Cunningham, Tanner McGrath, Brendan Glasheen, Thanks for tuning in to Payoff Pitch, Action Network's MLB betting podcast presented by BetMGM. Best of luck. We'll talk to you again at the end of the week.